It's the third week of 3WC, the second of bracket and the first where losers go home. And it's a contested fight between the two combined territories left in the tournament. Welcome to this Austria-Hungary versus Iberia match. I'm Bubbleman. I'm joined by iFlame today. How are you, my guy?
I'm doing well. Pleasure to be here for 3WC. Actually, first match I've commentated this tournament, but two very good teams here. Iberia seeding 9th overall. They had a close match against Brazil where they ended up losing 6-3, but some very close map scores in that match. Austria-Hungary, they were the 16th seed, which means they had the unfortunate task of facing off against the United States in the round of 16, and understandably they lost 6-0, but they did put up some very strong scores. We saw some strong performances from players like Fedoragus, as well as Akuno no Tenchi, who had a really strong showing, as well as some other strong players like Defy and the Z number A's.
On the other side, Iberia, seed 9, up against Brazil in the round of 16. And it's the whole lovers to enemies arc. We've got Fedoragus on one side and Aleph on Team Iberia. These guys are going to be yapping all match long because they play every tournament together. They're very close friends, and they find each other on the other sides of the line this time. What are we expecting, though, iFlame? What are we thinking that these teams are going to be picking, banning? What's the pool looking like for them?
It's interesting because there's a lot of overlap between these two teams' skill sets, but also some key differences. And I think the primary overlap is going to be in some of those mechanics. Both of these teams in qualifiers, as well as the round of 16, have looked incredibly strong on the aim-focused picks. Team Iberia, second place on the qualifier No Mod 1. No Mod 1 was Austria-Hungary's second best map, getting 7th overall. So I think looking at some of the aim-focused maps like that Free Mod 1, No Mod 1, as well as that Hidden 1, going to be pretty contested. In terms of where these teams apart, though, I think we're going to be looking at the DTs for Austria-Hungary. They've been our very strong tapping team. Meanwhile, Iberia have shown some strength on things like Hard Rock, so potentially that Hard Rock 1. The Precision as well, they had a decent showing on in round of 16. And in fact, they were number 3 on the Hard Rock 1 in qualifiers as well, so more aim maps for them.
So I'll have to stop you there, because I don't think I'd put too much stock on the scores in qualifiers, in all honesty. I played that pool, and let me tell you, that was just a coin flip pool. Like, everybody could miss at any point on any map. So, to be honest, discard all of the qualifiers stuff, and replace that with some information for the round of 16, because in all honesty, those maps were slightly better at polarizing the skill sets and not adding in a buzz slider or a couple random 1/3 or a cut stream or a slider stream that moves from the top left to the bottom right in steps, and it was really iFlame.
It's okay. We don't have to traumatize you anymore, Bubbleman. We don't need to talk about the qualifiers.
Yeah, I see lots of DT success for Austria-Hungary on the round of 16 pool.
Yeah.
Same can be said for Iberia, though, on the no mods. So, looking like ban orders done, picks done, and it's Hidden 2 as the first ban.
Yeah, it does make sense, and it's a scary pick into players like Aleph and even players like Zap, which is a fun name. But yeah, like you mentioned, the no mods were really strong for Iberia last week, particularly the no mod 3, where they were second place only behind Canada, and that no mod 2 as well. Now, no mod 2, I believe, was a stream map last week. This week's no mod 2 is more of kind of a tapping finger control map, so maybe the free mod 2 for this week's pool is the dedicated stream map this time around. So you're looking there rather than towards Sponge Draw the Square Way, right? Which I'd be slightly more surprised to see Iberia pick, but they could certainly still be strong on it. And Iberia had their struggles as well on the DTs last week. Looking at that DT2, they put it was only played by 2 teams, put up 1.8 million, but quite a few misses, and so We'll see if Austria-Hungary wants to take advantage there, and we do see the full hidden pool banned out, which is interesting, but it is going to be a reading ban versus an aim ban, so just focusing on those skill sets.
It's quite funny to see hidden banned out when Aleph likes hidden, Fedora Goose likes hidden. I mean, they just don't want a coin flip, I guess. What could be the first pick, though? It's going to Austria-Hungary.
Yeah, I would expect one of the DTs. I think they've looked especially strong on some of those more gimmicky DTs. Because Iberia put up an okay score on the DT2 last week, I think DT3 is the likely first pick, but DT2 is going to be the second best option, and they're going to go for the DT2. And that is going to be your speed DT pick. It's going to be about, I believe, 255 BPM off the top of my head.
There are some peak maps in this pool, actually. Hold on.
This is an absolute banger.
This is. It's PO as well. And I mean, everyone knows this map, at least by the farm maps they make, quote-unquote farm maps. But very wide berth. Yeah, very, very wide breadth of mapping style. DT2, we can imagine what to expect from it. It's AR10, high BPM. But good pick? What do you think?
I do really like the pick. I think we're going to see Austria-Hungary pick the DT2, DT3. The DT1 being kind of the aim focus is going to be a bit more contested, but I think the DT2 and 3 are the obvious first picks for Austria-Hungary in whatever order you might choose, and obviously they've chosen the DT2 first. Now this is an interesting one because it's not as dense as your typical DT2. A lot of the bursts are a little bit more spaced out. You have to actually aim them properly, but you don't have a ton of longer bursts, so we'll have to keep an eye on that kind of aim control component as well, as we see the rosters filling out Defy, Z9A, and Akuma no Tenshi for Austria-Hungary, who was the 18th best performer, played every single map last week for Austria-Hungary. Looking to keep up.
Is that actually how you say Defy? I've always called them Defy.
I have switched between the two depending on the match. I have no idea.
Well, until I'm told otherwise, and probably told off for being wrong, I'm just going to call them Defy.
Defy works for me. I've used both interchangeably, and nobody's ever corrected me on either one. So
this is an interesting pick, though. Noticing who is on the other team, noticing the strong speed players. This is a real interesting pick, but it could have ramifications, right? The Nomad 2 is lower BPM, lower in finger control stamina requirement. Is this the hardest map in the pool, would you say? I think I've seen people saying it is.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the harder ones, for sure. There's no doubt about that.
Well, we're in. Little grid mapping to start us off on the first map of the match. It is Austria-Hungary versus Iberia. It's the first round of the losers bracket in 3WC. One of these teams goes home. Right here, right now.
Definitely a fair bit of air control to this one as well. And that can be more of a drain on the stamina than longer bursts, because you have to be so aware of those tapping, not to tank your accuracy as well. We see Defy down at 96, but matched by Escrupulilo, and actually it's Aleph having the most struggles with accuracy, so off that accuracy alone, Austria-Hungary are going to find themselves off to an early lead, but it is going to come down to those misses later on in the map. We're not going to be seeing a 6-way FC on this one.
No, indeed not, and it's easy through the first spike, but if this is anything like any PO map I've ever played, the difficulty only progresses. We'll see what happens in the second when it kicks off momentarily. Here come the staggered bursts, the island bursts, heavily favored by the PP system for a long while. Players should be pretty well versed in this sort of pattern, and the first of all, Escrupulillo down for Iberia, and it's the picking team in the advantageous position. Austria-Hungary have the 3 FCs continuing through the spike, and now down to 1. Iberia lose Rafamat, and it's just Aleph, the captain, trying to bring it home for his team. Keeping it as stable, as steady as possible as Akuma no Tenshi falls, and now it's 2-1, and now it's 1-1. Defy down 2. Scoobalio finds another miss. But unless C9A goes, and he does, it's his slow section that catches him, is down, and now Aleph can run it back as far as possible.
This slow section.
Calm the nerves. Get ready for this last spike. 2/3 of the way through the map, 500k. and he gets to see it. That's tough. That's really tough, because now you know it's all on you. Your shoulders weighed down by the fact that you are the FC. You have 100k to make up. But with the combo that he's built, he might be able to just gain enough points naturally, residually. These island bursts are not spaced. They catch Z9A, and Aleph fires into the final Ki on the FC, 30k. It's coming back. iFlame is coming back, and this is what I was expecting from Aleph, and this is why I was almost afraid for Austria-Hungary picking this. We'll see what happens with this small pause that we're seeing in the playback, but right now, 2 supporting combos for either team, and it's Aleph to carry.
Still holding that FC. That score is going to flip back over now as it's continued misses from Z9A, and notably, it's good recoveries from the rest of Iberia as well. There goes the Fi now, dropping the second last combo on the side of Austria-Hungary, and this score solidly now in favor of Iberia. Aleph finally finds the miss, but the work has been done. Iberia should be able to hold on and take this early break point. Hello?
They should, but watch that score. It's 60k, and it's not moving. Any chain misses could drop it back either way. But it accelerates. It accelerates hugely through the ending. I think there was a small desync or something somewhere. Could have been that combo missed that Escrupulia was actually holding. Either way, 1-0, and it's the break point to start the match. Aleph brings it home for the team.
A very strong score. Now, can't fault Austria-Hungary for that pick. I think this was the clear direction based on previous knowledge that's been gained from this tournament. But Iberia, they're the 9th seed. They're one of the strongest teams in the losers bracket easily, and so there's not going to be any free picks against Iberia. You need to be playing at the top of your game if you want to avoid these break points. They've got the next pick now, and they've got quite a few options. A lot of those nomads we mentioned tend to be their strong suits, and looking at that Fremont 2 as well. So in my mind, I'm thinking Nomad 1, Nomad 3, Fremont 2 as some of the potential picks for Iberia. But I suppose if they wanted to, they could opt for a position pick as well, but I think that's more of a later matched pick for them.
Could, of course, fire back with tapping now that they know Aleph is warm. It's got to be a big confidence boost.
Yeah, I think if you do want to go for tapping, you maybe leave it a little bit just in case Austria-Hungary picks it for you in the next pick or two, and if they don't, then you can pick it a little bit later on. But I am curious if we do see any easies on the Fremont 2 as well. I know...
Oh yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
about that.
It's pretty good multipliers on that. It's 1.8 on the Fremont 2 because it is the most playable with the easy. We did see an easy replay on that map in the showcase, so it is certainly playable. I don't know these players well enough to know how good they are on easy specifically, but we're going to get the Nomad 4 instead. So it is a Nomad pick, just not the one we expected. It's going to be Reading, which is makes sense after that Hidden 2 was banned out by Austria-Hungary. They're going to opt for the other AR8 map, and this one is a very aim-focused AR8 reading map, lots of overlap aim, a lot of their awkward patterns to watch out for as well.
Yeah, it's tough on the reading, and it's Iberia picking it. And do we definitely have the pick orders the right way around? Because with Fedora Goose in the lobby, and with the reading ability of some of the Austria players, especially Defi, the Hungarian player, that's a strange, really taking the fight to them, I guess, on their skill set now.
Yeah, it's certainly not the pick that came to my mind for Iberia, but evidently they're feeling confident, and on these early stage pools, I mean, it is quarterfinals, it's not that early, but relatively, as long as you have, the skill set is slightly less important as the consistency is, right? So as long as you have two players that can put up really strong scores on the map, especially in a team like Austria-Hungary, you're going to be in a relatively good spot. And I know WhatsApp is a pretty strong rating player as well, so that's going to be one to watch out for. But like you said, Bubbleman, Austria-Hungary certainly no slouch on some of these picks. Players like Defi and even Akuma no Tensi, who remains in for Austria-Hungary, could put up good scores here.
It has to be said that 2 players putting up a good score, you mentioned, is pretty much a win condition, because looking at some of the, or most of the qualifiers scores, average score for the highest placed team is 1.9 million, right? So that's 2 FCs.
Exactly.
All you need to be above average is 2 FCs, and the reading map, if you're well practiced, if you're well prepped, it's definitely one of the places that you could get it. But look at the difficulty already. There's so much focus required of you on this, especially with the technical skill set. Defi falls already, mirrored by WhatsApp and Rafa Matt. And it's looking like it's going to be scrappy. Z10A drops 2. So only 2 FCs on the board. 1 even, because Akuma no Tenchi missed early. It's a pretty short map too. Look at this. We're already a third of the way through. 1 minute 44 in length.
It's going to be over quickly. It's a pretty big accuracy gap as well. Z10A really having a rough time with this one. Is starting to recover, but this is a very hard section coming up with a lot of overlaps, higher spacing, and these back and forth jumps that have caught out a lot of players. Off to a good start so far, but Akuma no Tenchi is going to be the first to miss, and that is a big combo down. Now it's Defi trying to bring this one back, but Aleph holding strong. Rathmat on the recovery. WhatsApp does find the miss, but that wasn't the important combo for Iberia. They're now up by 200,000 and in a very good spot coming to the end of this map.
I think you've understated it a little bit there, because look at the combo on Aleph. It's a pretty identical section to the start of the map. These repeat, or the double back on these bursts, you have to time it correctly, you have to tap it properly, and it's Aleph to hit everything, and Aleph to FC. 900k, 97% near enough. Second place, even to Rafa Matt, who was holding a huge combo. Huge recovery. 156 100s too. Look at the accuracy, iFlame.
Yeah, those are some crazy scores from Iberia, and it's kind of what we said at the start of the map, right? They know they can put up 2 strong scores, they do exactly that, and that is more than enough to find an extremely dominant point. They're going to be up 2-0 now, and it's a big question mark for Austria-Hungary, especially when it's only first to 6. You certainly don't have the time to give up a second break point, because there's just not going to be enough time to recover those most often, and so in theory, at least on paper, right, you think you want to go for the DT3, but potentially after that DT2 loss, you might be a little bit more hesitant to go for that second DT. However, it is alt DT, so it's a very different style. It's not a tapping focused map. The kind of other tapping focused map in the pool is that free mod 2, which personally I think if you're Austria-Hungary, I would not touch, and as I say that, they pick free mod 2.
It's the only skill set that hasn't been tested yet. I mean, you look at it, you've got the technical, you've got the reading, you've got the tapping and the high approach rate. I know it's AR10, but it is still high approach rate. Let's just put some flow aim in the lobby and call it good, you know? And look back to the World Cup, right? The performance that Austria themselves put up on this in the World Cup in qualifiers. You've got to have a little hankering for a similar score, right?
Yeah, this one is definitely feels like a bit of a gamble for Austria-Hungary, but evidently I think they feel most confident on. And I mentioned easy earlier. This is one of the free mod that is most easyable in my opinion. It just depends whether the players have taken the time to practice this on easy, because it is for the most part some 200 BPM streams. In terms of the mod requirements, you need 1 HD/easy and 1 hard rock as well, so they're going to be able to put 1 player on the no mod. This one, it feels slightly more difficult on the hard rock. Hidden feels, I mean, especially for these players, I don't think the hidden should be too much more difficult compared to the no mod.
Just making me think about what the landscape would be like if you could take DT as a free mod.
That would be fun. Realistically, there would only be like one player in any tournament that could take DT on the free
Imagine, yeah, imagine the time shift lobbies in 3WC. I mean, hey, Maltese is is a 3-digit. Aleph could probably do pretty well on this DT.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, this is already like 7 stars. What would that be? Like 10 stars, probably 11 stars after DT.
Yeah, but haven't people FC'd this? Like, isn't this like a generic, boring farm map? Or is that a diff lower or something? I don't know, I'm out of touch.
It might be a diff lower, because I suspect this would be, like, I mean, we can find out quickly. Let me just take a look.
Okay, let's have a look at the mods first. Let's make some predictions. I reckon Fedora Goose goes hidden. I reckon Z10A Hard Rock, maybe? What do you reckon?
Hard to say. I would say, yeah, Z10A Hard Rock seems likely. I would guess Fedora Goose on the hidden, but it's going to be Akuma no Tenshi on the hidden instead. And we're going to get Aleph on the hidden, Rafamat on the Hard Rock, but there are definitely some DT plays. Actually, there's no DT, scores in the top 50 at least on this difficulty, so that'd be a little bit tough. Regardless, we're into the map. Let's see if Austria-Hungary can finally get a point on the board as Aleph. Gonna find some early struggles, but should have lots of time to recover.
Well, he was pretty much 2 for 2 for being the highest scorer in the lobby, and early miss, maybe to steady the nerves, maybe to prep for the rest of the map. Settles in though. It's flow aim, and it is consistent tapping. 200 BPM. It's all that you really have to master to be able to play this. Aleph misses again. Early advantage to Austria-Hungary. But this map, as you would expect, is a spiky map. Throws a couple of diff spikes here at you. Circles get more spaced out as we watch the Hard Rocks. Nothing so far of note. Supporting combo now being built again by Aleph. Gotta mention Rafamat is about 80 combo down as well, so there's a little bit of ground to be made up even off that. But so far, no change, no shift. The higher these combos build, the more the tension can be felt.
Certainly can.
Another chorus.
On a map this long, 140,000 points is a very nice buffer for Austria-Hungary going into the second half of this map. And the difficulty does start to pick up a little bit, so you may start to see some misses, but it's still a 3-way FC for Austria-Hungary. Pressure building for both teams now as the score only continues to grow, but it is a good job from Aleph to recover here all the way back up to 1k combo after some early struggles. Has done a really good job to recover the accuracy as well. There goes Townie, that's a big miss. And now Iberia are so far behind. 500 combo down on Aleph.
And it's the no-mod player too. There's no FCs on a technicality now for Iberia. Rafamat with the highest combo. You've got to see a big collapse from Austria-Hungary if they want to bring it back into a small jump section. Let's hope your snap aim is switched on after that big length of flow. And then straight back into it. Slow that cursor right down. Control it over these worms.
And at this point, any further miss for Iberia will put this one out of reach. It's already nearly there with a 340,000 point lead and growing. And Bubbleman, there's a miss from Aleph, and that's going to do it. Austria-Hungary finally get their point on the board, and this Fremont 2, very solid pick for them.
Now all eyes to the left of your screen, honestly. It's the big stream. Z10A misses on the Hard Rock, but it's 2 FCs carried through it. Fedora Goose and Akuma no Tenshi with the bigger circles managed to thread their cursor through them. We've got one more, I think, to my memory. Maybe not even. Maybe this is just the end of the map, and maybe there's 2 FCs. And maybe... No, there is one more big stream. Fedora Goose drops on it. Huge chain miss. And the same goes for Akuma no Tenshi. No FCs in the lobby. None to be had here. No PP plays, but 2.7 million.
Incredibly strong team score from Austria-Hungary.
That was huge.
It was very impressive. I mean, that's going to be one of the top team scores across the tournament, I have no doubt. Holy team score indeed. And that's going to slow Iberia's momentum a bit. Austria-Hungary have something going, but it is Iberia who have the next pick. And they've got options left in the pool. I think you want to stay away from the tapping, but still a lot of other good no-mod options here. There was that no-mod 1 and no-mod 3 that we mentioned earlier. And beyond that, it's a lot of kind of aim-focused maps. We haven't seen anyone touch the tech yet. There's Hard Rock 1 and Fremont 3, which are both tech-focused maps. And it's going to be the No-Mod 3, unsurprisingly here.
Okay.
Iberia were number 2 on last week's alt pick.
How much does this differ from top diff? Because I'm aware this isn't top diff.
Honestly, I do not know the top diff. This one, I think, is pretty snappy for an alt pick, though. It's not
But hey,
too heavy.
hold on. You should know the top diff. This was in OWC a couple of years ago.
My memory is not that good.
Don't you tell me you don't know the top diff.
I'm sure I know the top diff.
Were you
but do
not
I
sat
remember
up
the
in your
top
seat
diff?
watching Zutinator FC it?
Zootinators have seen a lot of maps.
Alright, okay.
No, I have the memory of a goldfish. Like the week after the pool has been played, it's gone from my mind.
That's caster syndrome.
It really is.
Actually,
Yeah,
that's
you-
just tournament community syndrome.
Yeah,
Gotta
you
be
look
said.
at so many pools, you know. Hard to keep track of them all.
Anyway, No Mod 3, it's a 6.7 stars, and if it is as different from the top diff as I'm thinking it is, it's going to be a lot of micro movements. It's got to be a lot of alternating. You can single tap this BPM, 280. I can
Yep.
imagine nobody electing to go that route, though.
This would certainly be more single tappable than the top diff. I don't remember there being any like super lengthy control aim patterns that tend to be tougher for these single tap players. So something we can keep an eye on, but certainly not necessary, as there's another pretty lengthy map, so we're going to be able to see a lot of these players build up some pretty big combos here, and likely we are going to see some of those combos get up to 1,000 plus. And so 1 or 2 players can make a big difference here if we can see a near FC from one of them.
So watch out for the linear aim on this. That's why I was talking about the difference from the top diff. The top diff is very much just a 280 BPM almost jump map. There's lots of awkward aim, there's a lot to it really, but at its core, this so much more linear, so much more about the micro adjustments in the cursor, combos staying even. Watch out too for the 1/6. We get into the chorus. Spacing picks up a little bit. Cursor control does not falter, however, and the lead is flickering. The accuracy is even. 1/6 catches no one as we're through the chorus with a 6-way FC. Big linear catches WhatsApp, and he gets to see that he was the only one to fall. Austria-Hungary now in an advantageous position as they go into the next verse. 1.6k is the score difference, and it's going to slowly grow as long as they hold on to these linears. And a traded miss, Aleph, picked up by Z9A, but that does make it worse for Iberia. Austria is carrying 2 FCs to Rafamat's 1. Build up to the next chorus. Nane goes again, but that's not the combo that they are fearing losing. C9A, you can miss as much as you want, buddy. Fedora Goose, Akuma no Tenshi, they've got you. Goose falls.
That is a big one. And this KI is still to come, so we could see that traded back, but CIA does need to recover that combo at some point because WhatsApp is back up at 400 combo. There goes Akuma no Tenshi. That's the last FC down for Austria-Hungary, and all of a sudden Iberia starting to run away with this one with that massive combo on Rafamat. And Rafamat has survived the second KI. It's Still difficult, but slightly easier section to get through, and Raphamat is just going to be able to push this score lead until the final TI.
And score lead rockets back over to Iberia with the big hit of that extended section. 1.2k combo and a recovery from Aleph of 600. These are some huge combos now. So far in excess of what they would need to pull this back. They're now running away with it. Fedorigus on 400, Akam and Atenchi on 300. They're going to need Aleph. They need Raphamat to miss if they want to win. But it's not looking like it's going to happen. As surely as they were holding their combos earlier, Raphamat is now down, but traded by Akam and Atenchi. Goose, the last line of defense, and it's not going to be... Aleph does fall, but Goose cannot bring it back. There is not enough time, and now not enough combo. Dead even. WhatsApp building up 400. Keeps them at bay as well. And Iberia take their third point. They take their second pick. They're still 2 points clear of Austria-Hungary.
And it's very similar scores for most of the players across the board. It is just Raphamat stepping up with that 1400 combo to keep Iberia in the lead. Of course, this was their pick. This is a map we expected them to be very strong on, so an expected point for them. And now it's a tough choice for Austria-Hungary because there is one more tapping map left in the pool, but I think the Nomad 2 is probably slightly more similar to the DT2 than it is the Free Mod 2. It's very burst heavy. It's a whole lot of triples, some aim control as well. And so we'll see if they do want to gamble on that Nomad 2 or if it's time to switch it up and maybe try their hand at aim. Tech, I mean, we haven't seen either of these teams play too much tech throughout this tournament. I don't think either of them touched it last week, so not a ton of information there. So Fremont 3, Hard Rock 1, definitely feel like coin flips.
What are we thinking about the Hard Rock Flame? We've got 2 Hard Rock maps that have not been touched.
Yeah, I would slightly favor Iberia, at least on the precision pick. The Hard Rock 1 is interesting because it is a tech-focused map, which seems like a gamble, but we are going to get tech, just a different kind of tech. It's going to be Fremont 3, which is kind of your heavier slider tech pick, and one where they're definitely not likely to see easy on.
Oh, an ICCS 3. Tell me about this. It's 174 BPM. It's under 2 minutes. But what are we expecting?
Yeah, it's a pretty tricky slider tech pick. It's not too aim control heavy, and I mean, this is like your Nomad 4 almost, from what you'd see in most pools, except of course somebody has to take the Hard Rock. Now, that CS3 makes the Hard Rock a lot more manageable, otherwise the Hard Rock would be really brutal. But yeah, otherwise it's a pretty standard slider tech pick.
So happy enough. What are we looking at then? This is one of the only maps, I would say, that you can look at the qualifiers score on. That Nomad 4, the Nuge map, as much as it is a Nuge map, it does still give you some fairly decent information about how these guys play. And it was actually Austria-Hungary to be the victor on it. They had 1.6 mil to 1.4 on Iberia. Maybe doing their homework, maybe looking at that and saying, you know, yeah, we could take them on this map too. Hard Rock, hidden, who cares? But it's all down to how you feel on the day, and these guys are looking like they feel good on the day, at least on their skill sets they're confident on. That 3 mod 2 score, I don't, there are a few teams who could match it, sure, but will they? Have they? I don't think so.
Certainly the question. You can put up great scores in practice, but really all that matters is what you do in match when the pressure's on and when it really counts. And I do think compared to the free mod 2, the mods are going to be a little bit more difficult compared to the no mods. So these teams might be relying slightly more on their no mod players, although there's a lot of very talented players in this lobby, man. I have no doubt that some of these players can put up very strong scores on this map, even with Hidden or with Hard Rock. And so I do think we're going to see largely pretty similar mod combinations to what we saw last time around. Fedorigus taking the Hidden this time around is
wow. Hold on.
Okay, that's a lot of mods on the side of Iberia. Double Hidden plus a Hidden Hard Rock for WhatsApp.
See,
This is a big risk.
now that's why I was saying that Aleph on the hidden, Fedorigus on the hidden. These guys having banned out the hidden pool, and that is a hidden hard rock and Akuma no Tenshi. So yeah, big circles, who cares? We just want our normal circle size back, please. Thanks. That's huge, actually, though. Huge roster depth to be able to pull this off. Let's see which team has it. 2 hiddens compared to the 2 hard rocks on Austria-Hungary. Iberia wanting this point. Austria-Hungary fending them off. Aleph first big combo to miss. Rafamat an early choke. Could be a reverse choke still. But these guys, they've been putting up the scores their team needs, now relying on their third member, WhatsApp being the one to do it for them, and Akuma no Tenshi misses. It's close so far. It's advantage Austria-Hungary. It is their pick.
And that's a full team reset.
And it's a huge wipe. It's a full team reset, indeed. Rafamat, WhatsApp, both go down. Z10A drops the FC, and it's now just Fedorigus hidden. He could do it for the team. 600 combo. Slower section to steady those nerves. He sees he's the only one comboing. The goose is loose, iFlame. It's 800 combo now for him, and he's barreling down on this ending. It's a short map, and it's big circles. As long as he can keep his cursor from shaking too hard. He's going to pull home a big score for his team. A traded miss from Akuma no Tenshi and WhatsApp, and Fedorigus finally going down, but that's 800k for his team. And backed up by 2 near 600ks as well. That's a big team score, and that's a big win when they need it. They take their point, put it on their side of the board.
A much needed point for Austria-Hungary. Fedorigus keeping them in this match. And Iberia, I think, are going to be a little bit disappointed with that one. Feels like the kind of map where they had some strong scores in practice. Felt good over mob, but that one pattern in the middle of the map is that one slider claimed all 3 combos. And from there on out, they just could not catch up to Austria-Hungary. And Iberia have the next pick, and now I think we can talk more about those hard rocks, because I do think Iberia have looked good on the hard rocks generally. The question is more of a skill set question, because Hard Rock 1, rather than being a consistency pick like some of the maps that Iberia have looked good on so far, it is tech instead, and I think they do prefer aim, so we're going to see the No Mod 1. I really like this pick from Iberia.
Manima Ni. This is such a banger, actually. This is one of those songs that you remember from whenever you played it the first time. Really glad to see it here as a No Mod 1, in all honesty. But it is... Look at that, it's AR9! What could this mean, iFlame? I've not seen this map.
No, I mean, I think as far as... I only glanced at it briefly, but as far as I know, it's a pretty standard No Mod 1, some bigger jumps. I mean, yes, there's the AR9, which makes it slightly less comfortable for a lot of players, but I don't think there's really any crazy jumps. The aim isn't particularly awkward, so...
Is this like actually no AR9? That's not like a overlay bug or anything. Is this actually AR9?
It is indeed AR9. Just an unusual mapping choice on the AR9, but otherwise it's standard as far as I know.
What in the world is this? So I can infer from that this is just a raw execution test. You got to be able to see the circles and then go on a C-circle diet.
Exactly that. This is going to be pretty much a consistency test, and I think at this early stage, it's going to be a little bit coin flippy for a lot of players, as No Mod 1 tends to be. We're probably going to see a lot of pretty high combos, and it's going to come down to 1 or 2 misses on those key eyes. Obviously, it's going to be important which key eye you find that miss on as well. If you miss on the first or last key eye, that's not the end of the world, especially if those misses are traded, but missing on that second key eye around the middle of the map is going to be pretty devastating, so that's something we'll have to keep an eye on, as Good Luck Have Fun's in the chat Iberia looking to find themselves a 4th point and keep their lead to 2 over Austria-Hungary.
I'm looking at Aleph on this one. I'm looking at Akumo Tenshi on this one. They played quite well on No Mod 4 earlier, which was AR8 and far more technical. Could see them do something similar on this. Higher mechanics difficulty, lower reading difficulty. Of course, there's the opportunity for anyone to pop off in this lobby. But that is not for me to decide. It's for them and how they're playing. And Akumo Tenshi, the first miss in the intro. These long sliders, they have a tick in them. My worst enemy. And it claims 2 players, 3 players, 4. Oh, the intro is going on a tear. Aleph down as well. It's only for Doragus to make it through. It's going to be scrappy iPlane yet again. The reading map earlier, AR8 was very scrappy. Misses left, right, center, and either side. But here we go, ready to get into it. Stabilize, AR9.
Predicting that stream, and it is just these slower sections for now. There's quite a lot of build-up, and obviously intro quite difficult, but we've got the next guy coming up now, some bigger jumps, some tricky sliders. I did not see this part of the map, admittedly, and so we're going to expect to see a few more misses coming through here, but so far both teams holding strong. As a slight lead for Austria-Hungary. There goes Aleph. That's going to be a pretty big deficit to come back from since that one isn't traded, but Austria-Hungary still has to survive the rest of this PI.
Goodness me, this mapping is disgusting. This is so brutal to have to follow these sliders all the way through or risk missing the ticks. And there's 2 combos down for Iberia now. Aleph and Rafamat have both fallen. Huge combos on Austria-Hungary and the FC on Fedoragus. Lots of pressure on him, but has to be pretty safe. He doesn't know it, but the rest of his team have huge recoveries. And they're only facing down that one 700 combo from WhatsApp. Long map though, we're only halfway through. You can't get nervous yet, you can't lose your cool. More slider ticks to come, more fast sliders, and WhatsApp is the one to be claimed by the lead-in. Rafamat as well, it's a full collapse by Iberia as these huge combos and the hit of the big stream, the space triples. Austria-Hungary are running away with it now, 300k in the lead. Still hitting through these aim sections, the stream sections. And they get to see their place. 99.1 for Doragus is happy, but 99.5 on his teammate Akumo Tenshi. Aleph on the other side doing what he can, 99.4, but a 600 combo is not enough to face down these monstrous combos and live. Fedoragus loses his full combo on a slider tick. It's brutal, it's disgusting, but it's what you would expect from something like this. I actually really want to play this map. This is making me excited. Oops, says Aleph as well. Full on P.
Yeah,
map is all but decided. His combo is down. Fedoragus misses again, but he's done enough. Backed by Akumo Tenshi, who does miss, and after I mention him, mind you, like before, sorry, I mentioned him after he missed. It's all collapsing now in this ending. The tension is released. There is no stakes now. We know who's won this map. Players can relax, let it all breathe, like come out with the exhale, and then inhale and go next. 300k is the scoreline. And it's a breakpoint iFlame.
It is.
Breakpoint.
Nah, I certainly looked at the wrong 20 seconds of this map, I must say. My god. It's quite a lot more slider heavy than the Section I clan staff. But regardless, like you said, breakpoint for Austria-Hungary, and it's a big one. It's going to take a lot of pressure off because ever since that first map where they gave up the breakpoint on that DT2, they have desperately needed that breakpoint back, and now they find it. And they find it relatively early as well, only 3 picks in, so this is going to take some pressure off for the last few picks, and I do think this is the stage of the match where the picks are getting a lot more difficult to find, a lot less decisive, and so we're likely to see a few more breakpoints coming up here before we get to that tiebreaker. Each team has 2 picks left, and the options in this pool are dwindling quickly. We've got the Hard Rocks, 1 free mod, a couple DTs, some no mods as well, and so We've yet to see Austria-Hungary go back to those DTs after the DT2. I would be surprised to see them opt into the Hard Rock, especially. I mean, they did win the Fremont 3, so potentially there's a Hard Rock 1 angle there, but it's much lighter tech compared to the Fremont 3, so I certainly...
Hold on. What are the odds, right? What are the odds the Hard Rocks go unpicked as well?
I mean, it kind of depends. If it goes to tiebreaker, I would guess very low. But it is possible.
Banned, Hard Rock's getting ignored. It's going to be Free Mod 1, the 2 DTs, and the No Mod 2. In fact, you know what? I could see Iberia picking No Mod 2 right here. They need a victory now. After the 2 losses in a row, after that converted breakpoint by Austria-Hungary, it's dead even. They can go right back to the skill set that they won earlier. The DT2 was a big victory for them. They could threaten to do it again, iFlame. What do you reckon?
They could. I think No Mod 2 is a gamble. I don't necessarily hate a No Mod 2 pick for Iberia, but I think it's going to be, a couple picks in the future. And we're going to get the DT3 first, so they're going to go back to alts. But this is DT alt, which is very different from your No Mod 3. And this is interesting because it's Austria-Hungary who have looked really good on some of the DT3s so far, although I don't know, was last week's DT3 alt as well?
I'm genuinely not sure. As soon as I found out we didn't make it through quals, my brain shut off.
Can't fault you there. But yeah, assuming that last week's DT3 was an alt map as well, then Austria-Hungary could certainly put up some very good scores. I mean, looking at the individual performances on that map, it was Akuma no Tenshi who put up an FC, Fedora Goose did as well, so those are going to be the 2 to watch. And I think on the side of Iberia, you're probably going to be looking at Aleph, who also put up a very strong score on that map. I wonder if we see Escrupulilo in for this one.
Citrus plus halved the core. I think this was speed. I think DT3 was speed last round.
Ah, I see.
I think DT2 might have been... might have been alt. It's Taishi, and it's 207 BPM. This is casters in real time, by the way, trying to figure out what last round's pool was.
Without looking at the maps, yeah. It's okay.
You'd think our spidey senses would tingle at this point, but no, we're just as blind as you guys are when we look at the pool for the first time.
Yeah, you look at it's like 270 BPM. That's all BPM, but that could also be speed BPM, But it would be quite fast for a round of 16 speed map, so hard to say. Regardless, we do see a Scrupulilo in Raphmat and Aleph, so on both sides, it's the identical rosters to what we saw on last week's DP3. And good luck, have fun.
Well, it's going to be... It could have been 1/3, I guess. There's no doubt in this one though. 380 BPM.
Yeah.
I think it's alt.
Yes, I did look at this map briefly before the match, and I can confirm it is definitely alt. This one, if I'm remembering correctly, it has a little bit more linear, a lot of very snappy patterns, less in control heavy than the No Mod 3, but we'll have to see, as we do see a very early miss from C9A as well as Aleph and Raphmat, but they're going to have plenty of time to recover, and Fedora is struggling on the accuracy. I'll have to keep an eye on that, as they should flip back over to Iberia off of the accuracy, but Fedora Goose does recover, so they will hold on.
This is an absolute classic. I would put fair money on the fact that Fedora Goose has probably played this no mod in a tournament at some point back maybe 10 years ago. Look at it. It's 0108 goodness on DT. Raphmat falls and 2 FCs to 1 carried into the chorus. Z9A mirroring Aleph. It was a traded miss earlier, but none to follow. None more. And again, as I said, on that free mod 2, the longer you hold these combos, the more tension builds. Escrupulilo crumbles under it. He cannot keep going with that reverse slider catching him out. And it's that 500 combo now for Aleph is the only thing they have to cling on to. Akuma no Tenshi does fall, but Aleph trades it out, and now it is looking dire. Rafa Mat 300 is all that they have to carry them into this ending. But look at the full combo from Fedora Goose. The accuracy doesn't matter as long as he hits all the circles. Z9A might go down, but Grandpa Goose is here. He's had his Red Bull this morning. He's carrying a 97 into this ending. Third of the map to go. The tension can release at this point. 300k clear. There is not much Iberia can do despite these building combos that they have. The recoveries are on. But they have to be too far clear at this point. It's gonna take some combo breaks. It's gonna take some chain misses. But Goose just doesn't care. He wants this FC. Maybe he has played this no mod at some point in the past. The Wiggle claims him though, and falls a little short. Crazy play though. Incredible combo, incredible score. I mean, the rest of the lobby, it's got to be said, that it was coming back at the end. The timing was not to be, though. Rafamat with 750k, and everyone else in the lobby, over 600. Some great scores. But all things considered, Fedora Goose, the standout star on this map, claims the point for Austria-Hungary.
Very strong showing from both teams on that one, but of course Fedora Goose makes the difference. Iberia now has the next pick, and for the first time all match, they find themselves at a point deficit, down by 1. So need to consider this next pick carefully, and I think it could potentially be Hard Rock time for them. Other option is free mod 1 would be entirely reasonable for Iberia.
Free mod 1, it's what type of map is this? Let's have a quick look. It is 6.3 stars, the free mod 1. No, that's round of 16. 6.6 stars is free mod 1. 190 BPM. But it's AR 8.5, so that will be the catch-out factor.
Yeah.
They did pick it. We are valid to be talking about it. Someone's gonna have to take a reading mod on this, and someone's gonna have to take Hard Rock on CS 4.5. It is not too bad on the anti-mod aspect. And it's Neru as well. Hold on. Wait, this pool has bangers.
This pool does have quite a few bangers. This is a 2.2 easy multiplier as well. Although this is a pretty tricky map to learn easy on, so especially between these two teams, I would be surprised, but I'll keep hoping. Yeah, 2.2 is the easy multiplier.
No, you're looking at round of 16 as well.
Let's see, am I? No, easy 2. Oh no, I was looking at free mod 3. This is 1.9 easy multiplier.
Well,
so yeah, at that point, probably not worth it. We're probably just gonna see. I do wonder if we see any overmods on this one. You know, maybe we see an extra Hard Rock. If they don't, I think it's potentially more likely from Austria-Hungary, see them taking a second Hard Rock. Fedora Goose likely to be taking the hidden on this one, but we have seen Kuma no Tenshi take the hidden on some of these free mod picks in the past.
Let's sit back and think. Yeah, the Austria-Hungary performance on these reading picks, the aim consistency picks, has been second to none, honestly. They've played really well on a lot of these. But Iberia has 2, because the score from Aleph, the backup from Rafamat on No Mod 4. Of course, yeah, Hard Rock is an option to be taken on this. It is CS around about 6 with Hard Rock. A little bit of a higher precision requirement, so a higher consistency requirement involved in this. Let's see what they take, though. It is no overmodding. We see a no mod on both sides, Scrupulio and Fedora Goose Aleph on the hidden, the comfort mod. And there is an easy in the lobby, iFlame. Defi. Easy player for Austria-Hungary. I have known about the easy prowess of this player for a while. Now it's time to showcase it in 3WC. What's happened to Decory, though?
I don't know. Maybe some technical issues, struggling with the tablet. Maybe got tapped out. It was very early in the map, so we'll probably get an abort. And monitor turned off. Yeah, that would do it.
That would do it, yeah.
Fair enough. I think Z9A is going to be pretty happy with that abort. He found a few misses at the start, and so is going to get a second chance. And so, you know, Austria-Hungary at the end of the day, they're not going to mind that abort.
Yeah, let's go again. Let's, Decory, the, hard rock player, right? Yeah, I don't think, CS6 really lends itself to blindfolded playing.
Yeah, that should be like a 5x multiplier for monitor off.
We've all heard of the blindfolded, was it Made of Fire play? Was that Musty did that? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Musty, you out there? Was that you? It was someone. I know it happened. But those were a little bigger circles.
Z9A survives the intro this time around, so going to be doing a little bit better. And Daffy this time around not having a good time on the easy, at least early on. Still plenty of time to go, but Daffy certainly missing the previous score on the map as we get through this intro, and it's going to be a slight lead over to Iberia. Any second that score should flip, although Decory finds the miss on just the hard rock. Interestingly, had hidden hard rock when we first played this, but dropped the hidden for the second time around. Maybe that was just a client-side bug.
Well, I guess the miss gets traded from one player to another. But advantage, though, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we can see the total score calculated after easy on the bottom of the screen.
Yes.
And as Aleph goes on the hidden, it is the easy difference. Seeing the circles does make a difference on a map like this. Drops the combo though. Still 2 FCs on Austria-Hungary. Now 1 for Iberia. Scribblio on the Nomad is the only defense. Gonna be looking to Z9A for Dorogoose to find a mistake. And with a bit of hope for more than one, honestly. Score lead is being pulled their way slowly but surely over to the left of the screen. Is going to be another break point if they continue to combo. Definitely doing really well on the easy.
Yeah, has found a couple misses. There goes Z9A. That's a big miss. That's a FC down. Aleph does trade it back, but it's going to be 1 FC to 1. And only 70,000 points in the lead for Austria-Hungary, so the supporting scores from Decory and Daffy really going to start to make the difference here. Aleph finds yet another miss as Z9A begins to recover. Really impressive accuracy for Z9A, by the way, on this hard rock, but both of the key combos on either side. Noah Scribblio and Aleph. It's a double miss for Iberia, and now Austria-Hungary are off to the races, but Dorogoose is going to absolutely run away with this score lead, and it's quickly up to 130,000 points. The last combo drops for Iberia, and Austria-Hungary looking to take a break point with a quarter of the map to go.
Yeah, these streams posing no issue for Fedora Goose. A little bit of a reset on the client, but we get to watch this ending all the way of Austria-Hungary. It took a while to get going, but Fedora Goose is here. Now starting to set these scores. Catapulting his team into the lead. Takes a converted breakpoint. Daffy doing really well on the easy. Z9A doing really well on the hard rock. It is a team difference, in all honesty.
Dorogoose has been on fire this match. Put up so many key scores, and this is where some of that pre-mod strategy comes in. Putting your strongest player on the no-mod and just letting them go off is a very valid strategy, and it's paying off big time for Austria-Hungary here. They've been trailing for pretty much the entire match, and now they find themselves ahead by 2. They get the break point, and they're going to be on match point with the next pick. Where do they go to close this one out is the question.
And it's a great question. Where do they go? They seemingly have a slightly stronger hard rock roster. If you look at the way that they were hard rocking the free mods, and you look at the way that Z98 has now outscored Decory on this, the consistent performance seems to be on their side, but they have to put up a full roster of hard rock. That's the difference. Can they do that?
I think so far this tournament, when it comes to that full roster, Iberia have been a pretty heavily stronger team on the Hard Rocks, which is why I'm a little bit skeptical of those picks. Yes, we can see Z9A put up a crazy score, but unless you think Z9A can, pop off and solo carry with, the one supporting combo, it's a pretty risky pick because Iberia, while they might not necessarily have anybody to match that, they do have a full roster of players that could play those reasonably well, although this Hard Rock one is not like the previous ones we've seen. Bubbleman, you mentioned that Nomad 2 earlier. Could it be time for the Nomad 2 potentially? There is the DT1 as well. I mean, they did win the DT3 recently.
Definitely want to put Fedora Goose in right now because he is playing really well. Nomad 2, I don't think is a map for him. DT1, I'm unsure if it's a map for him, though he does have 10.3 under his belt. But let's see where and what. I'm unsure, honestly. The 2 Hard Rocks are still there. It would be very funny if they were just left untouched.
It would.
Nomad 2, DT1. What do these guys go for? Man, this is tough. It could be the DT based on the... Oh, no, it's Hard Rock 2. Okay, we're in for a treat.
That is bold.
This map has been around in the community for a long time. Y'all should know it. And if you don't, go play it right now. It's really, really, really cool. Hollow Wings always outdoes themselves. This is no different. It's AR9, it's CS5 base, so that means CS 6.5 snap aim at 172 BPM. This, when it came out in 2014, and then when it was ranked in 2015, it was ahead of its time in a lot of aspects, and people just didn't understand it, really. But we're finally in a world where we can appreciate it for what it is. Very spiky, though, iFlame.
Certainly is. Not an easy map, and interestingly, last time we saw Iberia play these position picks, Waztap absolutely popped off, put up one of the best scores in the tournament, but Iberia got a little bit third-playered. Townie, who was in 4 last week's position, struggled a little bit to kind of put up a good score, and so it looks like they're going to have Decory in over Townie this time. Most likely they're going to see Scrupulilo come in as that third for Iberia. Still waiting on the Austria-Hungary roster, and you have to imagine Akumo no Tenshi is going to be back in. Has been in for, I want to say, every map, if not almost every map for Austria-Hungary so far, and Duffy, of course, going to fill that out.
I'm really excited to see this, in all honesty. It's a short map. I think it's one of the harder maps in the pool, if not the hardest map in the pool to FC. Even to play well, to play consistently, to hit these back and forth, the wiggle patterns. Let's see what these guys can make happen on it. Defi, Z9A, and Fedora Goose are here to try and lock out that match point on their last pick of the match. And WhatsApp, Decory, and Aleph on the other side trying to stop them. And what? We haven't even seen that map. We haven't either, it didn't even get picked in the lobby. Why is that showing up?
Boncho works in mysterious ways. Here we go, Iberia backs against the walls. 1 minute and 52 seconds to keep themselves alive in this match and alive in this tournament, Bubbleman. This is a loser's bracket match, so the loser of this one will be eliminated from 3WC. The pressure really on now as we'll be getting into this map shortly. Here comes some of these harder patterns. Aleph going to be the first one to find the miss, and because of how short the map is, there's not that much combo to be gained, so even this 150 combo deficit will be relevant.
It's the battle of the combined territories. Two countries are going to be going home at the end of this match, and Austria-Hungary trying to make it end early. Decory, Aleph have both missed. It's WhatsApp to carry Iberia's hopes. Portugal and Spain, watch on. So we get through the break, the back and forths, the snap aim, the cut streams, they claim WhatsApp, trades with Defi, but Fedorigos and Z9A are holding on, holding strong. Z9A misses in the lead into the final chorus, and Fedorigos drops a combo as well. Now, are there comebacks? Are there recoveries? Aleph is there with 300, but he has to hold through this entire ending if he wants to make a difference. Decory as well. The support is vital, is crucial to Iberia's hopes as they move into the final section of back and forths. Decory misses just before, but it's Aleph to carry the hopes of Iberia. He has to hold. He has to combo. The lead is closing, and it nearly flips just a little bit more.
There it goes.
Aleph now running into the outro with the combo. He has to hold as far as he can. And I think he's done enough, iFlame. It's 100k of advantage. It's Aleph to bring it home, to break the point, the final pick of Austria-Hungary, and keep them in this with the S rank. 500 combo and 750k on Nanats Isinzakura. Wow, that was close. That was a Herculean effort. But he keeps the Pantheon standing.
That was such a clutch score from Aleph. Gives Iberia that last pick. And there's only 3 maps left that have been unchosen. It's now down to Nomad 2, that tapping focus map that's lots of triples, little bit of flow aim as well. You've got the DT1, which is going to be your kind of standard consistency DT. And you've got that Hard Rock 1, which is more of a light pick. Hard Rock tech has a fair bit of aim to it as well. And
yeah, no problem, guys. Remember I was telling of the tale of the lovers to enemies? Yeah. Look at the players we've been shouting out this entire time. It's been Fedorigos, it's been Aleph. These guys have been cornerstones for their team. And it's Hard Rock 1 response to the Hard Rock 2 with a straight up Hard Rock pick. Nomad 2 does not get touched. DT1 does not get touched. These more consistency heavy maps are left completely on the table in favor of, well, in favor of what? What is this map? It's CS 4.6. This doesn't feel like Hard Rock at all. It feels like we're going back to Nomad, or just higher approach rates, slightly smaller circles, 200 BPM. And this is mech tech, right, iFlame?
This is indeed mech tech. You've got some light tech, you've got like light slider tech, you've got some aim mixed in there as well, but like you said, with those bigger circles and that higher approach rate, that's going to be the main difficulty. This is definitely something that Iberia can play, and I think this is the clear best pick for them remaining. It's not necessarily guaranteed to work out, because as we see in Austria-Hungary have players that can play this as well, but I think we're going to see mostly similar rosters. We may see Rafamat in for Iberia this time around. Would be interesting, but it's a very short map as well. And so there are some pretty difficult patterns to watch out for. Lots of places to miss, and it's going to be over quickly.
This is... it being mech tech means that I'm not looking at the tech patterns. I'm not looking at anything to do with the tech maps like the Nomad 3, the Nomad 4. I'm looking at the consistency from both of these teams. I'm looking at FreeMod 2 for advice. I'm looking at DT2 even for guidance on how these guys are going to play on this, because at its core, mech tech, you're just aiming the slider heads, right? It just becomes an aim map. Aim and bursts and a couple of streams here and there. I think it's looking good for Iberia, but I can't help but think about the FreeMod 2 from Austria-Hungary.
Yeah, it's far from a guarantee. And I also have to point out that we go back to our previous pick, that Hard Rock 2. It was Aleph who popped off, clutched up when it mattered, and brought Iberia to the finish line, one step closer to tiebreaker. And Aleph, nowhere to be seen on this Hard Rock 1, replaced by Rafamat. And so somebody else is going to need to step up for Iberia. Will that be WhatsApp, who has looked so strong on previous week Hard Rocks, or will players like Fedorgus and Akuma no Tenshi continue their dominance over this match?
This is okay, because Rafamat has been another of the cornerstones for Iberia. If it's been a two-man fight, you've got to imagine Aleph and Rafamat. And then on the other side, it's been Fedorgus and, dare I say, Akuma no Tenshi. Out of this intro, however, the slider heads are catching everyone. The mech tech, they're just not aiming the slider heads. They're just aiming the sliders as if they are circles themselves. And it's Decory, the Hard Rock player on that free mod 1 from way back when, has the highest combo on their team. No consistency to be found pretty much anywhere else. A couple of recoveries, a couple of 200 combos now, but we're already halfway through the map. iFlame, Decory hitting the cut streams 200 BPM. It's a big advantage, but the map only gets harder. The drop is where the difficulty lies. Who can hold through these? Nobody playing by the doubles. Everybody at least has taken a look at this map once before. But here we go, the cut streams, the doubles, the quads, everything is to play for, and they're leaving nothing on the table. Decory continuing to combo, but everyone has recoveries. It's Akuma no Tenshi to trade. No drop for the big combo though, and Decory continuing to run away as Fedorgus finds a miss. It's Z10A is the only one to fight against it, and Decory does find one. The miss is there, but I think it's too late. I think we're seeing tiebreaker, iFlame. Z10A tries as hard as he can to run it back. The lead is closing, but not fast enough. It's nowhere near fast enough, and it will be about 50k difference.
Yeah, Z10A.
Tiebreaker time!
It is time!
Ding, 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 ding! Anybody order a tiebreaker? Tiebreaker for dinner, guys.
And this is going to be our first tiebreaker, I believe, of the quarterfinals. So very exciting. And we've seen such good scores. We've seen so many different players step up, whether it be Decory on that previous mech. We've seen on the previous pick, Fedorgus and Akuma no Tenshi popping off on various maps. We've also seen Aleph and Rafamat stepping up. And so there's so many players that either team can rely on this tiebreaker. We are going to get a 2-minute timeout, and it's interesting. I did not expect to be here, so I did not look at the tiebreaker.
Yep, same here. I'm just going to go look at it right now. Okay. Camellia, you're low. Okay. 220 BPM. This feels like a map I should know.
Yeah, it's a Camellia pick.
Wait, this feels like a map I should know. I have a score in it.
Oh, there you go.
I played this recently, 20 days ago.
Get Bubbleman in the lobby.
Why did I get logged out of the OSU website? Okay, if there is anything to think about on this one, it is very mech tech, just the same as the map we just saw, if my memory serves.
You are 14th global on this map.
Look, okay, I have just been clearing maps recently. They do not linger in my mind for any longer than it takes to click the delete button.
That is very fair. None of the players on either team in the top 50 on this one.
I can watch myself play this. Hold on. 16th of February. 16th of February. At what time? 16:21 UTC. Okay, so that's like here. Okay, I found it immediately. Yeah, it's just mech tech.
Yeah.
There's a couple of 1/3s to contend with. There is a couple of repeat sliders to contend with. But mostly, it is 219 BPM mech tech.
Well, if that Hard Rock 1 told us anything, maybe we'll see Decory back in for this one.
Oh, there is a 6-note burst at the end, and that's what I missed on, because I thought it was 5 notes. They just come out of nowhere.
Well, have to keep an eye on that as the timer starts to run out, although it looks like we have another timeout after the initial timer, so we've got another minute to go.
Yeah, it's literally exactly where I missed, is there's a couple of 6-note bursts.
You also
and I got really upset with it. Like, why did they map it like that? Any players watching? Any players? Like, check, like, 2200 combo onwards, okay? That's where you need to look in this tiebreaker. The rest is boring, okay?
Yeah, we know some of the players.
Sorry, the rest is really cool and tense and really difficult. And only the best players can FC it. Anyway.
There's only a couple FCs on this map. So, probably not going to be seeing any FCs in this map. Match, that would be pretty crazy.
I gotta be real, it is the 6-note burst at the end that have caught most of these players.
Yeah.
There's even a few, like, actually most players have been caught at 2000 combo.
Yeah. Most of the way down the leaderboard.
So I'm gonna be looking out for people to at least combo up to the halfway mark, you know? This is just a mechanics test. This is just a consistency test. And honestly, I don't know if I'd have it any other way with these guys. This might even be one of the fairer tiebreakers for these two teams. Just who is playing better? Who is shredding on the day?
We're certainly in for a banger as the players fill out the lobby. It looks like our rosters are set for Austria-Hungary. We've got Fedorgus, Z9A, and Z10A. Both the Z number A's in for this one. And on the side of Iberia, looking to complete the comeback, it's Waztop, Rafamat, and Aleph. Here we go into tiebreaker. And as we enter this tiebreaker, we do have on the B stream Canada versus Germany. That's going to be an absolute banger. 4 seed versus 5. Canada currently up 1-0. So make sure to check out that match after this tiebreaker. But for now, this tiebreaker is going to be an absolute banger, so don't go anywhere.
None of these guys appear on this leaderboard. It is a straight shootout. Fedorgus, Z9A, Z10A, and WhatsApp, Rafamat, and Aleph. Their respective countries go home if they lose. Austria-Hungary versus Iberia.
It is first PI now. Everybody off to a relatively strong start, and not unlikely that we do see at least a couple of these players get up to that 1.5k, 2k combo mark that you mentioned for the start of this map. So the PIs themselves are not so crazy difficult for anybody in this lobby, but it is that consistency over the entire 5 minutes of map.
Yeah, there's one of the first 1/3. Watch those patterns. They recur, they reappear. It's more tense each time. It feels like they come out of nowhere, but they don't. You know when they're coming. And there's the first miss. Rafamat is down. The mech tech claims Aleph as well on the hidden preference mod. 3 FCs to 1, and where have we seen this story before? WhatsApp is the only one to hold the combo. Rafamat and Aleph both missing early. But watch as they recover late, as they seem to have done through this entire match. The 3-way FC, the 96 and the 95s on Austria-Hungary are the difference makers at the moment.
The pressure is really on for Rafamat and Aleph now. An 800 combo deficit is pretty massive on a map like this one, and so they're going to need to be near flawless for the rest of the map if they want to bring this one back. Unfortunately for Iberia, Aleph follows up with yet another miss. That's going to slow down the recovery pretty heavily. And meanwhile, Bubbleman, Austria-Hungary, they're still on a 3-way FC.
Look at the bursts, look at the buzz sliders. They claim neither team, but one slip-up could be the end of a combo. Rafamat trades one of the FCs down. Z9A is gone, and it is 2-1 now. Aleph trying to recover, but
no! Nothing!
What was that? in the slow section, and he sees that it was the only FC for his team. Now the two for Austria-Hungary can run it as far away as possible to the left. Z10A does go down. That's one of the FCs traded, as WhatsApp misses to mirror it. But Fedora Goose, Grandpa Goose, he's here to play, and well, what can you say other than he's absolutely killing it right now? 1500 combo. And if he's looked at this map, if he knows that there are 6-note streams at the end, or if he's at least not caught out by them, this is already a leaderboard score.
And on a map this long, 187,000 points is an absolutely massive gap, let alone that full combo still being helped by Fedora Goose. There's just not enough recovery on the side of Iberia. Their best combo right now is 400 by Rafa Madden. Especially Z9A holding 500 combo, that is just not going to cut it, as Fedora Goose right now is cruising to a victory for Austria-Hungary. A quarter of an hour to go. It would take a massive collapse from Austria-Hungary to bring this one back. Bubbleman, I do not think it's happening, and it looks like we've got an upset on our hands. Seed 16, Austria-Hungary taking down a seed 9 in Iberia. The question is, can Fedora Goose survive this 2,000, 2.1k combo pattern?
It was the high seeders versus the high performers. We saw it last year from Austria-Hungary. They played out of their minds in the bracket stage. They do it again. They claim the lives of Seed 9. Portugal and Spain are going home, and Goose now has 6-note patterns to contend with. Does he know they're there? He does! He hits them, he combos through them, and here we go! Goose is bringing it home. iFlame, there is not a day that goes by, there is not a tournament that I cast Fedora Goose in that I do not want to sing his praises. He has been around the tournament scene for 10 years, and this entire time he has been one of the best performers. He has been one of the stars of the show of whatever team that he is on. And he just does it again. 850k on this is top 5 on the map.
Yeah.
He brings it home for his team and means that it pretty much was a 2v3 iFlame.
I mean,
And that's Austria-Hungary advancing in the losers bracket. What a match.
I mean, this match was such a treat the whole way through. So many players stepping up on different maps, but Fedora Goose, the tournament veteran, has been playing these tournaments for so long, and it shows in these high pressure moments on these tiebreakers where the pressure is highest. And Fedora Goose, no water off Fedora Goose's back. Austria-Hungary going to be very happy with that one. They are going to be moving on to play France, seed 11, in the next round of the losers bracket. But we do have another match going on, Canada versus Germany, on the B stream. That's now tied up 1-1. We also have one more match later today. That is going to be 1 UTC Monday, which is United States versus Brazil. But let's waste no time in switching over to the B stream. We're going to give them the host. I've been iFlame. Thank you to Bubbleman for casting with me today, and Rob for the stream. Once again, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you over on the B stream.